smokers, guys, Tesla stock is getting its flapjacks flipped today, and I want to give my opinion on this. If you did not already see Tesla stock, it's moving down around $24 a share today, down over 8%, down to a $267. Tesla stock had just been rebounding the last few days, the last couple of weeks, and now it's just gotten hit again. If we look at Tesla's chart here, it's back basically down to the range it was a little over a week ago. It's not down to its 52-week low, which is 52-week low is around $244. Now, why is this? Why is Tesla stock taking a big hit today, and what's my opinion on this? Well, late Wednesday, Tesla announced it delivered around 63,000 cars in the latest period, below analyst expectations of 76,000 deliveries. Okay, so that's a miss of around 13,000 cars. That's quite a bit. Deliveries of the Model 3 midsize sedan, considered a key product for Tesla, obviously, were 50,900 below a FactSet estimate of around 52,450. Tesla also said it produced 77,100 cars during the quarter, but obviously not nearly that many cars were actually delivered out there to folks, okay? The electric car maker also warned that first quarter income will be negatively impacted because of lower than expected delivery volumes and several pricing adjustments. So first off, guys, let me give my opinion on this and then we'll get into the rest of this, okay? One is Tesla said it made around 77,000 cars, okay, produced. Basically, that's how many cars they made, but they only delivered 63,000, which means there's some issues, obviously, with shipping, with actually getting those cars to customers. However, guess what ends up happening? The next quarter could be, much better than expected, because all those cars that were basically produced could end up getting delivered in this upcoming quarter, obviously, and that ends up boosting up numbers. So it's just something we ought to keep in mind here. It's not just about how many cars you produce, but how many you actually get delivered out to customers. And Tesla had a lot of issues clearly around actually getting those cars to customers. And remember, they just started deliveries to China and Europe in this past quarter. So a lot of times it's a little messy there, guys. It's just how it goes, okay? Nothing's ever, super smooth when it comes to that, all right? The company reaffirmed its full year forecast of 360,000 to 400,000 vehicles in 2019, which could reassure investors given this quarter's miss. It also said 10,600 vehicles were in transit to customers. That's kind of what we just talked about, okay? They were in transit to customers, reflecting unexpectedly strong demand in China and Europe toward the end of the quarter. The company said one challenge was trying to deliver cars around the world when it manufactured, obviously, only in one factory in the San Francisco Bay Area, meaning the production could continue to outpace deliveries. Tesla is planning to build a factory in China, obviously. They expect that to probably get up and running at some point, maybe in late 2019 or at least early 2020. That's going to help them out immensely in the Chinese market for getting Model 3s to those folks. It'll also bring down costs for the company as well. So if you're looking at the numbers by model, the company said it delivered approximately 50,900 Model 3s and 12,100 Model S and X vehicles. It produced 62,950 of its new Model 3 vehicles and 14,150 Model S and Model X cars, all right? Now, I want to kind of share a few analyst points here with you and kind of give my opinion against these kind of analyst points, that basically what some analysts are saying out there. But needless to say, it was a bad quarter for Tesla in the standpoint of actually getting cars delivered. They missed, obviously, massively. That's why the stock is down huge. But it's not as big of a demand issue as a lot of folks, kind of fear out there. Because remember, there's 10,000 plus cars are in transit right now that are going to customers that have actually ordered these Teslas. Tesla just hasn't been able to execute as far as getting those cars out as fast as possible, which is not the easiest thing when you're talking about you've never shipped Model 3s anywhere in the world other than the United States, and all of a sudden you got to ship them to Europe, you got to ship them to China. It's not the easiest thing to pull off, okay? Now, in terms of what some analysts are saying, all right, this one says Tesla continues to struggle as a, quote, real car company with demand collapsing for the tired Model S and X platforms and higher priced versions of the Model 3, Cohen analyst Jeff Osborne said in a note on Thursday. Now, here's kind of my opinion on the Model S and the Model X, okay? The Model S is their premium sedan. The Model X is their premium SUV, and actually their only SUV they have you can actually buy right now, right? Model Y is coming eventually, all right? So Model S, this came out in 2011, 2012, and it really hasn't had any fundamental big change to this car since it's basically come out. But what I will say about Model S, it's like, what are you really going to do with that car? It's still a beautiful car. It still looks unbelievable in my personal opinion. It still looks very modern. What are you going to really do with the Model S? Maybe a bigger battery pack in it, but other than, obviously full self-driving capabilities, what are you really going to do cosmetically to that car to kind of like, I don't know, make it more attractive? Like, I think that's a beautiful car as it is, even if it is 7, 8, 9 years old at this point in time, okay? And if you look at the Model X, this is still an unbelievable creation. Probably still the coolest SUV. Actually, I will say, it's still by far and away the coolest SUV on the market. There's nothing that can compare to a Model X. And yes, this came out in, 2016. I think it was shown off actually in 2015 at first. But in terms of the Model X, like, what are you going to do with that vehicle? It's by far and away the coolest SUV in the entire world, right? So when you kind of look at these cars, it's like, what can you really do there? Maybe slap a bigger battery pack, maybe get those cars to something like, have a battery option that could get like 400 miles of range, or maybe 500, versus right now the max there is around 300 miles of range for those cars. So maybe you can do that. And other than full self-driving capabilities, cosmetically, what are you going to do with those cars? So like this whole thing, like maybe they can switch it up or something. Those are beautiful cars, and those are still very attractive cars. It just, some people kind of look at it and they're like, do they want to spend the money on a Model X? And then remember, there's only, so many people can afford a Model X, talking about $100,000+ SUV once you get it out the door. Model S is obviously, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. It's not the most affordable cars, let's be honest, okay? Now, in terms of what another analyst had to say, this analyst says, we do not find this slowdown in US demand to be totally surprising or alarming. Bernstein analyst Tony Sacconaghi told investors in a research note on Friday. He noted that Tesla's most expensive Model 3s accounted for an extraordinary 33% of all sales of sedans priced between $40,000 and $60,000 in the second half of 2018. Let's just pause real quick. That is insane, okay? That is insane. If you want to hear that again, rewind this video 10 seconds. That's ridiculous, all right? The average selling price for the Model 3 sedan, Tesla's most popular vehicle, was $57,000 last year, according to data compiled by FactSet. The first quarter also reflects demand for Tesla vehicles without the full $7,500 federal tax credit, obviously. Now the tax credit's about half of that for basically anybody placing orders, basically starting in January 1st. So meaning basically a lot of demand was pulled forward into the back half of essentially 2018, right? So if you're looking at this and you were thinking about buying a Tesla potentially in January or February, a lot of those folks went ahead and did it in December or November, just for the mere fact that they kind of looked at this and they're like, well, $7,500 federal tax credit, or half that, a $3,700 federal tax credit. What do I want to do? We'll just place that order in December. We'll just place that order in November or October or something like that, okay? So a lot of demand kind of got pulled forward, but now you're kind of getting, now that we're into April, now the demand's going to start to normalize again. You're going to get people that, or at least, or if they're thinking about getting a Tesla, they're going to be interested in getting one and actually get one, okay? So a lot of demand was just pulled forward in the back half. Now, I'm not a big one for tripping off of these quarterly numbers, and here's the thing. If we just look at the overall what's going on here right now, okay? The Tesla Model 3s in Norway, okay, outsold all pure fossil cars in the month of March, all right? If we look at Tesla's estimated US market share, this is not electric vehicle market share, this is total vehicle market share, all right? We look at this, Tesla jumped from basically, pretty much insignificant player in the market, 0.3% type player, and in a matter of months jumped to over 2% player of the US market, okay? That is unbelievable, and that's competing against the fossil fuel players, that's competing against cars that sell for, $15,000 brand new, or $20,000, the Nissan Versas and Altimas, and trucks and all those sorts of things. And just keep in mind, right? Tesla did not have an affordable SUV in the market. The only SUV they had in the market, obviously, in 2018 was the Model X. Model X, once again, once you get that thing out the door, you're looking at around $100,000, okay? So all they had was a somewhat affordable Model 3, which once again, the $35,000 Model 3 was not even in the market during those months, okay? They didn't have an affordable SUV in the market. They didn't have a truck in the market, and trucks are like a massive player in the United States, right? And they still got to that type of market share competing against fossil fuel, like that's amazing, guys. Like to go from, you know, basically a 0.3% player, 0.4% player to 2% plus of the total market share, and you don't even have really an affordable vehicle in the market. Let's be honest, Tesla did not have an affordable vehicle in the market in 2018. Their cheapest vehicle was Model 3, and Model 3s were selling for $57,000 on average, okay? They did not have an affordable vehicle in the market, and they still grabbed 2% plus in the market share. Ridiculous, okay? And didn't even have a truck in the market, all right? Then if we look at the total electric vehicle sales, which, let's be honest, the you know, cars and just vehicles in general, they're going electric, okay? We're not going backwards on this, we're going forward on this, okay? All vehicles sold in the future will be electric, all right? It's gonna take a few more years to get there, but believe me, you know, you fast forward 10 years from now, I can guarantee you no one's buying gas vehicles, all right? If we look at Tesla Model 3, complete dominance, and who's the next closest competitor to the Tesla Model 3 in terms of electric vehicles? Oh, it's more Teslas. The Tesla Model X, the Tesla Model S, okay? The next closest competitor from an electric vehicle standpoint, a pure electric vehicle, would be the Chevy Bolt, which sold around 18,000 units in all of 2018, right? And then there's obviously the Nissan Leaf, which sold, you know, nearly 15,000 units in the year of 2018, okay? So basically Tesla's competing with themselves. They got a dominant market share. That market share is actually increasing. There's no real competitive threats to Tesla as of right now. We still have yet to see them, although they're supposed to be coming. So if you just kind of back up here and you kind of like think, okay, should I get caught up in these quarterly numbers, okay? Or should I think about what's actually going on in the whole market right now? We got one company completely dominating electric vehicle sales, right? Everybody's going to electric vehicles over the next 5 to 10 years. And you got one company completely dominating the competition around the world. You got one dominant player, and that is Tesla. And the question is, when does competition really start to come? And we look at Tesla. They just grabbed 2% plus of the market share of total vehicles sold in North America last year, right? And that was without even having an affordable vehicle in the market. That's the best thing. Now as Tesla starts to actually have affordable vehicles actually come in the market, imagine what their market share will grow to in the future. And as more and more people say, I don't want another gas vehicle, I want an electric vehicle from here on out. Imagine what these type of numbers are going to do, you know, in future years, rather than what happened this past quarter or even next quarter, right? Like I said, a lot of demand will be pulled forward into next quarter because they made a ton of vehicles, they just didn't get them delivered, right? Ton of demand, but I say don't even trip off of, you know, if the numbers are great next quarter or bad next quarter or anything like that. Focus on what's actually going on here in the market. And the fact is Tesla's completely dominating the competition in electric vehicles, and that's the whole wave. That's where everything's going, guys. So just kind of got to pull back. That's my personal opinion on this whole situation. Don't get too caught up into, you know, what happened last quarter or what happens next quarter. Think about this on a long-term mindset. Look at who's a dominant player and who's really going to be the competitive threat in the space. We still have yet to see a competitive threat. Let's be honest, guys. So at least one that's like a threat to actually Tesla. Nothing as of right now. All right. Chevy Bolt, Nissan Leaf, they're a joke. All right. Anyways, let me know your guys' opinion down there in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys as always. Thank you for watching and have a great day.